Wright Brothers, more like the wrong brothers. North Carolina first in flight? I think y'all mean Texas. But no, guys. Interestingly enough, there is a bit of murky history in Texas history that claims that Texas got to first in flight 40 years before the Wright brothers. Let me tell you the story of Jacob Brodbeck. He was a German immigrant who settled in Fredericksburg, Texas in 1847, where he became a teacher, but he had an idea, a theory for an airship. So he built himself a small model with rudder and wings and a propeller powered by a coiled up spring, and he was encouraged by the success that he was getting at local fairs. So he looked about and he went about raising money to build a life-size version that would carry a man. Now, at this point, there are conflicting accounts of what then happened next. Some say the first flight happened in a field about 3 miles east of Lukenbach, Texas, September 20th, 1865. Another version of the story says it actually happened in San Pedro Park in San Antonio, where a bust of his was later erected. And a third version of the story says it took place in 1868, not 1865, which is still earlier than the Wright brothers. However, all versions of the story claim that the airship rose to a height of 12 feet, flew for 100 feet before eventually come crashing down. So, first in flight, right? Well, he was pretty buoyed by this, not so much his investors who weren't willing to put any more money in. So Jacob went off touring the United States to try and raise money for a second go, which eventually did fail. He, in fact, never got to give it another go. He ended up dying January 8th, 1910, in Lukenbach, Texas, where he still is to this day. That being just a few short years after the Wright brothers' first flight. Now, there are no drawings, diagrams, or blueprints of this particular airship. There is this picture, though the veracity of this picture cannot be confirmed. But you know what they say here in Texas? Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So maybe, just maybe, Texas, first in flight.